Welcome back to Extreme Survival. Today I was just out here in the forest and decided to make a quick video for you guys. I was making some other videos for my Paranormal channel, but might as well, because it's kind of snowy. I haven't done any survival channels for a little bit. I haven't done anything in the snow, but just some quick tips. I mean, I'm not out too far from civilization. I'm not too far from civilization. I'm just up the road in the canyon, but even still, this is an avalanche area, so that road could be covered by an avalanche at any time, and I'd have to be prepared to hang it out here for a certain amount of time, and I'd have to be prepared for that, okay? I do know that there's some construction going on up at the dam, and they have some huge bulldozers and stuff like that, so it's good to know your surroundings, know what's going around in the area where you're at, because even now I could drive up there, let them know, hey, there's an avalanche, and they have a lot of resources up there. There's some warehouse type things that they're using for construction. I could survive up there with them if I needed to, okay? But if I was by myself, I mean, that's what I'm saying, like, it's a good idea to know your surroundings. The bulldozers would probably be able to clear up that avalanche if we got trapped in here, but I could use their resources. If they weren't there though, and I didn't know about it, maybe I didn't even know about them, and I sat here surviving on my own, but I didn't know about resources just up the road. You need to have several things, okay? You need to have an ability to start fire. Out here where it's cold, it's 22 degrees right here, right now. I'm fine. I have a pretty good jacket. Right now, it's not even too cold for me to seal it up. I probably should, but I want you to be able to hear my microphone. I could put that on my jacket if I wanted to, okay? But you want to have warm clothes. You want to layer, okay? I have an underlayer underneath my pants, under this shirt, and then my jacket. I have a sweater in my car that I could put on as well if I wanted to. But for the appearances of the video, I didn't do that, okay? You just want to have a beanie instead of this hat. Okay, I didn't come out here with the mindset of making a video for actual survival. I'm just kind of thought it'd be a good idea for you guys and for my subscribers. So that's why I'm not really super dressed well for this, but I am dressed well enough to be out here making the videos. Okay, you want to have a way to start fire, okay? Whether that's flint and steel or a lighter. I always have 3 ways to start a fire, okay? Whether that's matches, a lighter, and flint and steel, okay? Your matches can get wet and they can get lost, they can break. Your lighter can get broken and stop working, okay? Your flint and steel is going to be your last resort, but it's going to be the most reliable, because even if you break that thing in half, you can still start a fire. Now, things out here are wet, okay? You want to make sure you have a good knife on you at all times, especially when you're out here in nature, okay? Especially when it's cold and wet. But I always have my knife everywhere I go. That's an EC6 knife. I'll put a link in the description, the best price possible to get that knife, okay? But you always want to have a knife, okay? With that knife, you can cut open things that might be dry to get into, you know, everything here is wet. But you might be able to shave into something to get some more dry stuff, or chip bark off the trees, at least into smaller pieces, to create more surface area so you can start a fire easier, okay? In your car, in your survival bag, I always have a lot of dry tinder, some fat wood, some paper, just anything that's dry to help start a fire. Once you get a fire started, that's a beginning of fire, a lot of times you can start drying out some of these more wet things, but it's more difficult in the snow and the winter, okay? Another thing I like to carry on me is a power bank, okay? This one specifically is the Thrunite C2 power bank, okay? If you are out here in the forest and you get lost, even if you turn your phone off, over time your battery can drain, especially in the cold. Batteries drain a lot faster in the cold. Even this is going to drain a little bit in the cold, but it's better to have 2 batteries and a backup plan to charge that if you need to. It's a very good one, very durable, heavy duty metal. I'll put a link in the description to that as well, okay? So you want clothing, you want your knife, you want a way to start a fire, you want to find shelter, okay? The first thing you want to do is actually to find shelter, because no matter what, if you freeze to death and you don't have shelter, you're going to freeze to death, even in the best clothing. With a fire, you can have a fire, but what if it starts snowing, your fire goes out, you can't keep the fire going. You want to build yourself some sort of shelter, okay? Even in this weather, you can find enough. I mean, in different climates, it depends, but in this climate, we have plenty of pine trees. There's lots of pine trees, lots of pine boughs I could get to and build myself just a pine shelter, layer them on the ground, and make myself a little shelter on the floor, okay? You want to stack up some stuff on the ground to get yourself off the ground, though, so you don't lose body heat to the earth or to the snow. You know, you could build an igloo, but that takes a lot of energy, and unless it's really long term, I don't think that the energy wasted is worth it. It's up to you, though. You could do an igloo if you feel like you have time, but I would get your shelter, even if you have to get the pine bough shelter before you do, you know, kind of a lean-to thing, and then start building an igloo. If you were going to do that, I don't see that as worth it. I would try to figure out another strategy before I went to that version. The good thing about snow, the good thing about winter, is if you have snow, you have water, okay? The thing is, you got to be careful with this. Unless it's freshly fallen, okay? Unless you're collecting freshly fallen snow, and you know it's freshly fallen, do not just start scooping up snow and eating it off the ground. You could be eating feces from animals. You could be getting urine from animals or other people who've walked by, or other dead animals that have been in that area. You don't know what's right underneath that snow either, okay? So you want to be careful that if you eat snow, you get it freshly off the top. But you know, I would boil, if you don't have any freshly fallen snow, boil that snow, boil it so you have water that you know is clean and drinkable, okay? Food in this situation is a little bit more scarce because it is winter, the deep snow. You're not going to find as many animals roaming about. So you got to pay attention to different plants you can eat if you can get access to those. Like some firs and some pine, you can eat some of their bark and survive for at least a little bit amount of time. But you're going to be a little bit more hard struck than if it wasn't winter. Anyways, guys, that's just some quick tips about being out in the forest in the winter. Personally, I have my car. If my car ran out of gas and I was in dire straits, I could take my seats and burn them. you know. But I would keep my car. You could use if you have a car, use that for shelter before you do everything else. Use your car for shelter, okay? That is the number one thing. You make sure you use the resources you have available to you. So in my case, I could use my car for shelter. I could save that gas for as long as possible. I could use that heater if I really needed to. I wouldn't want to burn that gas unless I really absolutely had to. So I would try to survive as long as possible without using all that gas. Okay, you don't want to go wandering off into the snowpack because you're more likely to be found on that street or that road, okay? And if you can drive out of there, just drive out of there. But if you're like, for example, if you get stuck in an avalanche, your car got stuck in ice or snow, I think that happened like 2 or 3 months ago. I heard about a group of college students that got stuck in Idaho, I believe, for like 2 or 3 days before they were finally able to be rescued. So your best bet is to stay with your car, stay warm. And so like, if you're separated from your car, you just have to do your best to use all the resources available to you. But think smart, dress smart, and keep yourself alive. Anyway, guys, until next time, please subscribe. Talk to you later.